a scholarship from the Indian government, from the Dutch government, to go and study in Amsterdam for a year. And that changed my life, because I came across Cobra group of painters. I came across fantastic museums. I came across wonderful people who were running the museums, and I have lots of friends I made in the artist community in Amsterdam in '63 and '64. So then I had gone back to India for about a year, 2 years, and then '66 we actually came to, the opportunity was there. We were not thinking of coming to Canada, it just happened. I might add here, life doesn't happen according to our wishes. It has its own design, and in our case, in my case, it has been flowing the way it wants to flow. So I think this is very interesting. Where we were living, my wife and I, in India, in Delhi, 4 houses away, a Canadian immigration office moved. And while they were moving their furniture in, I went to inquire what office was it. They said immigration. I said, what is that? I didn't know the meaning of the word immigration. So they said, if you want to go to Canada, that's where you would apply. And the lady, while she was moving or guiding the furniture to move inside the building, gave me the form, which I filled out right at the gate and gave it to her. 6 months later, we got a call, and we went there, 4 houses down, and they say, you'll fit in very well. When do you want to go? So during that period, I had come across through the pointing out by a British art critic who was living there and doing his thesis in India, George Butcher. So he said, he showed me a Life magazine, and there was an article, very interesting article about Marshall McLuhan. And I read that about his theory about media and so on. So I sent him a letter admiring all this. And so once we were in Toronto, I called him up and said, I'm the artist who wrote you a letter. He said, okay, come on over at the university. A French television is going to interview me. You'll be able to hear me about what I'm working on. So that was the first meeting. After his interview, he asked his friends who were present at the interview, he said, what can we do for our Indian friend? And somebody said, let's take him to an art gallery. And which art gallery? Somebody said, let's take him to Isaac's gallery. So he was driving. I was sitting beside him. And one of his friend, writer friend, lady friend, was sitting at the back of the car. And he brought me to the Isaac's gallery. Now at the Isaac's gallery, Eve Isaacs came running at the door, and Marshall said, what can you do for our Indian friend? He said, leave him to us, we'll look after him. And then while we were there in Toronto, we started discussing about this East-West happening. Because I said there are so many similarities between India and this Canadian culture. So he said, why don't you do this East-West happening? And he was talking about global village and all that ideas, at that time. So it fitted very well. So that's when I created the happening for 2 nights at Isaac's Gallery. I made a film in which he was featuring. I did an audio interview of him, which we'll be able to play in this exhibition. And you'll be able to see this film too. So all these things happened. And then he was talking about rear view mirror at that time, the word he coined, which excited me, and I did a series of paintings for so many years titled Rear View Mirror. And while I was doing that, the idea occurred to me, why shouldn't we do a collaborative work? So I asked him, I said, I'd like to do a collaborative work. And what I'll do is, I'll paint my part, and you just do the writing, what your theory is. You just write on the whole painting wherever you want, in whichever way you want. He said, okay, it's a good idea. So I took the incomplete painting to his center, Center for Culture and Technology at the university, and he did his part. And one part I said, can I take the liberty of making it bold by my hand, and the rest I keep in your own handwriting? He said, it's okay. So it's a historical painting, it's a wonderful painting. So that is that's so much, and that was good at that time, because in 66, 67, he was very healthy. He was in best form. Once he went to Fordham University, he got, he was operated for brain tumor. After that, when he came back to Canada, he had a stroke, he lost his speech. So I would say the kind of work we did at that time was when he was in the top form. There's one more thing happened actually. I went to university, we were walking the campus, and then I used the word collage. And so he stopped me, he says, stop. And he started elaborating on collage, what collage is. Almost, I would say, whole page, 2-3 paragraphs. But it's a pity I wasn't able to copy or write down or tape it. But when I was talking to Alex, who is the officially running his blog right now, he somehow researched and found what he was talking about. So that is on his blog, that's what he talked about collage. I would say how I came about doing collage or working with collage as a medium. In India, where I come from, village fairs, my father used to take me to village fairs, and there are a lot of handcrafted, handmade toys and other artifacts which are sold there, which are actually basically from recycled material and also in collage form. And that impressed me most. So that's where I got my first. And also our gods, and some of our gods and goddesses, which are a little abstract. There could be a piece of stone and there might be some paint on it, and there might be some foil on it representing certain deity. So that is actually collage form. That appealed to me too. So that seed I took in my mind when I went to Amsterdam. And when I looked at the map of Amsterdam, it was such zigzag, all those canals. And I thought it would be wonderful to use this and create a collage. And so my first collage I did was in Amsterdam, which is also in this show. That's how the collage began. Now you might say, why it appealed to me, why I am continuing for so many 40, 50 years doing collage. Because, if you look around, if I'm talking to, somebody is videographing me, somebody is talking to me, what is happening? We are using words, that I'm thinking of something I've forgotten at home, or I'm going to go somewhere, that stream of consciousness. See, so the layering of these thoughts and ideas and visuals, what I'm seeing, it is collage all the time. And if you see TV, or if you see cinema, or if you see newspaper, that is actually collage form everywhere. So that is a very, I would say, dynamic collage form, every part of our environment. From Bombay, went to Calcutta. And Calcutta, the nightlife interested me. I did a series of paintings called Calcutta by Night. While in Calcutta, one of the most important filmmakers in India, even though the film industry was in Bombay, but one of the most important filmmakers was in Calcutta, and he was doing films in his regional language, Satyajit Ray, R-A-Y. He's world known. I saw his films. I was impressed. I was kind of impressed. I thought, well, that's work of art, and I should go on making film. So I contacted him, and he gave me some time, couple of hours, and explained how he started and so on, and what could I do, what books could I read to get started. But when we came to Canada, and that I saw an opportunity to learn filmmaking. So at that time, I was teaching in Hamilton, teaching art in a high school, and Ryerson was having a program, extension program for filmmaking, motion picture production, at that time it was called. So I would drive from Hamilton to Toronto for 2 years in the evening to attend those classes. And that's how my first experience of filmmaking. Then I started making short films, and then video came along, so I started making art video. So that's how the whole thing is, and it's still continuing. Today, actually, the digital has changed everything. Digital now, everything is your sound, your words, your image, your moving image. The same camera can do it. Same still camera can do everything. So now I don't have to go to Ryerson, but it was a good thing, good training, good schooling. I went there. But today's, I would say, videographers or filmmakers, they have easy access to that medium. And that excited me. A group in New York City called International Society of Copier Arts, they call it straight Copier Arts. And I became a member of that group, ISCA, I-S-C-A. And I work with them. They'll bring about bookworks, they'll bring about mail art, they'll bring about hieroglyphic exhibition, international exhibition. So I worked with black and white for a very long time, and then I switched to color when the color came about. I would say I did lots of work for many, many years, and you'll see examples in this exhibition too. It's very interesting. At home, I feel at home here, but when I'm in India, I feel at home there. But after a while, after a couple of months, I start missing home, which is Canada. Actually, the story about my life and the journey about my life, there are two ways it has happened. I ran into some people, I met them, or I heard them, whatever they were talking about, not addressing me by addressing the public, but something appealed to me. I was not looking for them. They just happened to be there on my way somewhere. I bumped into them. Or I have, by design, I wanted to go somewhere and learn something and do something. That has also happened. So combination of these two, these accidents and purposeful, these events and people's looking for people. So combination of these two have made me as what the artist I am today.